What's up everyone, and today I'm bringing to you a Lunalight Tri-Brigade deck profile. Or I guess more specifically, my top 8 locals deck profile. I actually went X-1 with this, and let me just tell you, do not sleep on this deck, because this deck can build some insane boards. Like, the boards that only droplets can out, and Dark Ruler. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, as I said before, I got a top 8 X1 finish at my locals with this. This isn't the exact build I topped with, because the one I topped with, it had some more bricks in it, so I wanted to like take out a couple of the bricks. But even with that, I was actually still able to top with it, so essentially I just made that deck, the version I topped with, even better. So first, I run 3 Lunalight Kaleido-Chick. Now, Kaleido-Chick's effect isn't really so much important. What is important is the cost. Now, Lunalight Kaleido-Chick, you can send 1 Lunalight monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. And if you do, this card gains that monster's name. The gaining the name doesn't really matter because we don't play the fusions at all. What you want is the discard, and since it is a cost, your opponent cannot ash it. They really can't do anything about it. It just has to go through. Because even if you Baylor it, Kaleido-Chick is still going to send for cost, and that's really what you're going for. If you want to Baylor it, go ahead. You're still sending for cost. And the card you want to send off of it is the Lunalight Yellow Marten. Yellow Marten is really cool because if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target one Lunalight card you control, except Yellow Marten, return to the hand if you do special summon this card. But banish it when it leaves the field. Now, Yellow Marten is really cool because you can do this from both the hand or grave, and I actually caught a few opponents by surprise because usually you activate from the grave because you want it in the grave, and that's like the best way to use it. But if you have it in your hand, you know, it's in your hand. And they're really surprised to find out that that effect works from both in the hand and the graveyard. And of course, the card you're going to be returning is the Lunalight Tiger, which we now have at 1. You know, I was always saying that Lunalight Tiger can come back to 1, and now that it's at 1, I'm not too sure that may have been the right choice. Because this deck, I've actually seen it has actually gotten a few tops on like regionals and stuff like that. And it's definitely a deck that's been going around. And the one advantage, I think, to this deck right now is that a lot of people don't really know this deck too well. The cool thing is that this deck can actually play through hand traps real well. Like in one of my matchups, I got Ash, Imperm, and Crowed, and I still put up a board. So this deck is just very resilient. You can put up an insane board, which you'll see more if you see the combo tutorial and the test hands, which will be on my Patreon. So go check that out. Now, Lunalight Tiger, and I haven't even talked about Tiger's effect. Lunalight Tiger, it's a pendulum effect. Once per turn, you target one Lunalight monster in your graveyard, special summon it. But it cannot attack, and its effects are negated and destroyed during the end phase. Not really much of a downside, because the cool thing about Kaleido-Chick with that being a cost, its effects are negated, but it can still activate the effect, so you can still send a Yellow Marten off of the Kaleido-Chick, even if you special summon it with Tiger. And the cool thing with Tiger and its monster effect is if it is destroyed in the Pendulum Zone, so like let's say they use Mystical Space Typhoon or something like that to destroy Tiger, its effect will still go off, to where you can special summon one Lunalight monster from your graveyard. So overall, just really good card, and of course with it lacking a hard once per turn, because you can activate it, bounce it with Yellow Marten, activate it again. Of course, this is a Lunalight Tri-Brigade build. I also played the 3 Fractal. Now, all the Tri-Brigades have the effect that you probably know of. You can banish any number of beasts, Beast Warrior, Winged Beast monsters, special summon a monster with the link granting equal to the same number of cards you banished. Now, Fractal can send itself to the graveyard to send 1 Tri-Brigade monster from your deck to the graveyard, which you'll usually send the kit. And a kit has an effect to when it's sent to the graveyard. It allows you to send another Tri-Brigade to the graveyard, like Nerval, for example. And when Nerval is sent, you can add 1 Tri-Brigade card from your deck to your hand. Most oftentimes, you'll add back the Fractal, or Karis, which I run 2 of. Karis can be good in a lot of situations. Sometimes it's good to get a monster on the field because it can special summon itself by pitching 1 Tri-Brigade monster or not one target, one Beast Warrior Wing Beast. So at the very least, you can use it to get your Kaleido Chick into the graveyard or your Yellow Martin if you have a way to revive it. Like let's say you got Tiger, Karis, and Kaleido Chick. You can pitch the Kaleido Chick off of Karis, summon Karis, and then use the effect of Tiger to revive the Kaleido Chick. Now one thing, this is a combo deck. So I do run some combo pieces, which I'll explain more as to the whole combo in the combo tutorial in the test hands video, which, as I said before, is on my Patreon, so go check that out. I run the 1 Raid Raptor Stinging Lanius. Stinging Lanius, if you control a XYZ monster, you spell summon this card from the hand. 1 Boar the Spear, if you control a Blackwing, you can spell summon itself from the hand. And the 1 Zephyros the Elite. Cool thing with Zephyros is you can actually bounce back the Tiger to use it again, which is really cool, which is why I said before, you can use it like up to 5 times a turn. For hand traps, I don't really run a whole lot because this is a combo deck, so you don't really have a lot of extra space for hand traps. I run 2 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. I only run 2 because I want to eliminate bricks as much as possible. And if you open 2 Ash Blossom, one of them is just going to be a brick. By running 2, it's less likely to see 2 in hand, although it's less likely to see 1, which is actually perfectly fine. I run the 1 Scythe, yep, you know what's coming. I also run 1 Malicious and 1 Destiny Hero Celestial. I do run the Scythe Lock, and it's actually not too hard to get out. To get the Scythe Lock, you only need to have collectively 4 monsters on the field, which is very easy with this deck. Moving on to the spells. I run 3 Lunalight Perfume. Lunalight Perfume, you can target 1 Lunalight monster in your graveyard, spell summon it, and then you can match this card from your graveyard, discard 1 card, add 1 Lunalight monster from your deck to your hand. So it's a Rhoda and a Monster Born all in one. All you have to discard 1 card from your hand to activate, which isn't too much of a downside. Which the one thing is, if opening this card and not really anything else to go off of it, it can turn into a brick. But you can search Tiger, you can search Kaleido Chick, you can Monster Born them. Like, there's too much advantage to get with this card to not run it. I also run 2 Foolish Barrel of Goods, which you use to send the Lunalight Perfume to the graveyard, because you much rather have it in your grave than in your hand, but obviously it's good in your hand as well. I only run 2 Foolish Barrel of Goods because I do not want to open 3 or 2 in hand, because it's just going to be a dead card, and I'd rather just have the 1 in. If you don't open it, it's not really the 2 in. Like, even if you don't see the perfume, you can still put boards regardless. 1 Foolish Barrel because there's a lot of things you want to see on the grave. One thing that will really hurt this deck is a Soldiering, or cards that like Abyss Dweller, because that will really hurt this deck. I do run the 1 Fire Formation Tenki, and even if you don't open Tenki, you can't search it out easily. I also run 2 Dark Roller No More, just for in case I'm going second. If I'm going first, so you can discard it off of the Light Tiger, or you can shuffle it back with the Farrajet. Also run the 1 Monster Born, just a really good card, and in some tight situations, that might be the card that can really change the game around. I run the 1 Rank Up Magic Soul Shade Force. This card can actually be searched off of the Y-Strix. And Soul Shade Force, you can pay half your life points, target 1 Raid Raptor XYZ monster in your graveyard, special summon it, then special summon 1 monster from your extra deck that is 2 ranks higher. And since Force-Strix is a rank 4, you can just summon Infinity. Also run the 1 Fusion Destiny and the 1 Called by the Grave. Moving on to traps, 3 Imperm. Moving on to the extra deck, yeah, I don't really need to explain what Imperm does. It's pretty obvious. Most people know that Imperm is just an all-around negation. Moving on to the extra deck, I run the 2 Raid Raptor Force-Strix. Cool thing with Force-Strix, like the rest of this deck, not a hard once per turn. If you can get multiple out, you can activate multiple. And this is definitely important for the whole combo. I also run the 1 Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Tiger King. Tiger King, you can use it to search or set your Fire Formation Tenki. And so basically you just set the Tenki, activate the Tenki, add your Tiger. The 1 Cyber Dragon Infinity for the Soul Shade Force, and a Zeus. Zeus doesn't come up too often, but sometimes it does. Came up like once. I run the 1 Raid Raptor Y-Strix, White Strix, if it is link summoned, you can special summon one level 4 Darkwing Beast monster from your deck in defense position. Unfortunately, it cannot be used as link material, but if you activate a Raptor XYZ monster, you can set one rank up magic spell directly from your deck, and if it's a quick play spell, it can be activated this turn, which Soul Save Force isn't, so that part doesn't really matter. I also run the 1 Tri-Brigade Farragut, the Baron Blossom, and the 1 Shrek Ominous Omen. I don't go into Omen too much. If anything, it's just a closer. I run the 1 Ancient Warriors Oath Double Dragon Lords. Kind of comes up occasionally. Sometimes you'll go into it, sometimes you won't. Kind of just really depends on how your hand shapes up. Obviously, the 1 Dagda and the 1 Bertie Anaconda for the Scythe Lock. I run the 1 Salamangreat Almirage. Originally, I was running a Beastdweller instead of it, but I ran into problems where I open a hand and it's just the Yellow Martin or just the Kit, and can't really do a whole lot with just those 2 monsters. So leave with Almirage, and if you have Kit, you can just eventually grab out a Karos or a Fractal to at least give you something. It can turn your hand from nothing into something. Also run the 1 Axis Kotalker, the 1 Apollousa, and the 1 Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer. That's it for this deck profile. If you want to see the combo tutorials and the test hands, go check out the Patreon, and I will see you in the next video I make. Bye.